Okay, so taking this apart, remember this is your output shaft here, and it turns. Okay, so you would take this piece off, which is, that's your output shaft with a bearing in here, which is shot. The lace is broken on this one actually, and the balls here are just free floating around. There was bits of the lace inside this when I took it apart, inside the casting. So who knows what type of damage was done. So we need to pull that bearing. Okay, so now this is your output shaft. You have a hook nut here, and you have a lock star on the bottom. Well, we'll take the output shaft out first. It's splined, so it just comes out. Okay, so it goes off to the side. So now we have to take the hook shaft off here, or the hook nut off. So what I'm going to do is, with regards to the other one, we're gonna use something, and I will come up with an idea, and I'll show you, to stop this from turning. Okay, you cannot jam the vanes and the rotor on the other side of this. There's no possible way to do that because you don't want to damage anything. So you need to freeze the shaft. So the way how I'm thinking of doing that is using the splines and the clutch again, like I did on the other side, on the clutch side of it, and we'll go from there. Okay, so everything is held together right here by this this hook nut. Hook nut is against this bearing, which is right underneath. This bearing is shot, so we got to pull this out anyways, as well as the carbon steel, which is on the back side of this. So to take the hook nut out, I modified a hook wrench to fit this particular hook nut. So now remember, I've taken this apart. Usually this here is tight. You gotta freeze the bearing so that it doesn't turn. Then you have to take the stator, and I attached it to the wood bench on the bottom, and then I put the wood bench and I froze it to the floor so everything was solid. And then I put the hook wrench in here, and I got a piece of pipe on it, and then I leaned against the pipe like this, and I hit with a 2-pound ball peen hammer against the handle, and I got it to undo. It's a heck of a, this is on tight, so it's not like it, I make it look easy coming apart now, but it wasn't. So there's the hook nut, and then you take the star off, the lock star. And now the rotor is free to come out of the bearing. Okay? Now when you do this, you don't want the rotor to drop underneath either. So when this is on here, block the rotor underneath so that you're actually pulling the stator off the rotor. Don't let the rotor fall because you don't want to damage the rotor. Nice and easy. See what I mean? The whole thing came up, and I don't want it to. clearances on this are quite tight. Now that's up out of the way, and we can slide that over. And what you have is the rotor itself, which is basically just, it's riveted vanes together so that it forces the fluid in a multipliable factor. Okay. It's heavy, but it's not bad. This here is the carbon seal. This here is the problem of why it leaked. Okay, so the other seal assembly is inside the stator, but this we will replace as well. We'll replace everything. That we can set aside, and then we can flip the stator over and see the converter, or see the seal. Alright, so we'll flip this over, and this is the double ball roller bearing in here. I'm sure you can hear that. The bearing is done. We'll be pulling that out. But we're going to drive this out from the other side. So we'll drive it up, we'll flip it over, we'll drive it out, we'll block this. So this thing is heavy, but I can maneuver it. And that's what the stator looks like on the inside. These are stationary fins. So the oil gets pumped in and it comes out and it gets forced. Where is the inlet? The inlet is here. So the oil gets forced in there, interacts with the rotor that's in here, and gets forced through these at a certain angle, and then gets forced through another angle, and then gets forced through another angle, and another angle, and another angle as it goes through, and it uses the hydraulic fluid, or the diesel, to multiply. This is the seal, it's done. This is the critical running ring. Feels good, but it leaks, so we are going to be replacing this, and we'll drive the bearing out, that's the bearing race here. Can't even turn it, well, it's sitting on the bearing, so I can't turn it. We'll be driving that out. Okay, this may be a little bit of an unorthodox way of driving a bearing out, but since this bearing is shot, it doesn't matter how it comes out. I don't have a 3 1/4 inch bearing driver or a 4-inch bearing driver, but I do have a hook plate off a switch, which fits in here fine. So I'm going to there's your roller, there's your double ball roller bearing. And this is what it looks like. Fairly good size. It's a double ball bearing. And yeah, we'll be putting a new one in. I think we'll leave it there, and we'll start to rebuild this with the new parts and stuff that have come in, put bearings in and stuff like that, so we can follow along with that. Thanks for watching.